think we'll go straight into questions. Please raise your hand. Catherine.
Andy, good to see you. You've made no secret of the fact that you wouldn't mind a few kind of draws in the big tournaments. Can I ask what your reaction was when you saw this draw?
Yeah, I mean, obviously tough draw, but I also feel like I'm in a much better place than where I was, well, during any of the slams last year. Coming into it, you know, I feel well prepared. I feel ready to play a top player, you know, early in the event, whereas maybe last year at times, you know, my game didn't feel that great, and, you know, getting, you know, a difficult draw, a tough match early in the tournament didn't feel great, whereas, you know, I feel like I'm in a better place this time to deal with that.
On that, after you played Berrettini at the US, you were pretty, I think, I'm not speaking out of turn to say you were pretty furious after that to not to have won it and felt you had opportunities to win it. Do you feel you've looked back at that match and you can take a lot away from it in terms of going into this one, and that you've maybe got a few ideas of how you can win it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I played him 3 times since the injuries and stuff. I think it's 3 times, maybe more. 4, actually. I think I played him at Queen's once as well. Obviously, the match at US Open was close. The match that we played in Stuttgart was close, and, you know, I won against him in Beijing. And yeah, look, I know how I feel today in comparison to where I felt going into the US Open, and I'm playing better physically. I'm in a better place, and yeah, I mean, I feel well prepared for the event. So obviously, the matches that you play against players, you know, you'd hope you would learn stuff from them and take things away from it, you know, that will help you going into the next one. So, you know, hopefully I'll be able to do that.
And what's made the difference then, Andy?
Some changes to my game. You know, a good period of practice. You know, gave me some time to work on some things and improve some things. You know, also got a lot of work done away from the court as well in the gym. So physically, you know, in the matches that I have played, you know, whether that was, you know, the matches in Kooyong or in Adelaide or when we played up in Scotland, like, you know, like my movement and stuff was significantly better than what it would have been at this stage last year. So, you know, when I move well, I tend to play well, and, you know, it's really important for me. And that's probably been the thing I've been happiest about since I got here. The conditions are playing pretty fast here. You know, so when the conditions are quick, it is even more important to be light on your feet and, you know, and moving well. So I think that's been the biggest improvement.
Oh.
Andy, it was a few years ago here that you basically were saying goodbye to the sport, and the sport was saying goodbye to you. How much, if at all, do you reflect on that journey you've been on, the fact that you are still out there, still competing? Or are you purely just locked in the way you always had been in terms of wanting to win and how do I improve and how do I keep going?
I mean, recently, like, I haven't really reflected on it much. I mean, certainly, like, when I came back to play, you know, last year and, you know, and played a match on the same court that, you know, I'd played on, you know, a few years beforehand. It's certainly something I thought about a little bit at the time, but yeah, I don't feel like right now is a time for reflection for me. Like, I'm looking, you know, to the future of, you know, however long that is left that I've got, is to focus on how I can, you know, how I can get the best out of my game and my body and try and achieve the best results possible. So I haven't really been doing, you know, that much reflection on 4 or 5 years ago, this time round anyway.
Andy, Jack plays Rafa Nadal on Monday, huge tie for him. What advice would you give him to try and take down Rafa Nadal?
Don't know really. I mean, there's many things that go into a match like that. Strategy being one of them. I hear a lot of times like when players go into these sort of matches and like the message is like, go out there and enjoy yourself, and it's like, well, there's a lot more than that goes into it. You have to go well prepared with the right strategy and game plan, and that would be, he's also, he obviously got to play Novak at Wimbledon as well, so has been in that situation before, and I think he'll deal with the situation well. I think am I right in saying they're playing in the day? So courts will be quick, and Jack is, he's a big server, and he's a big guy. He plays a lot of topspin as well, and yeah, great opportunity for him to go out there and and see exactly where he's at. I know he's been working a lot on the physical side of things, and that is one of the best tests you can get. Is playing against Rafa in a slam, so he'll see exactly where his game's at. But I know, having trained and practiced with him, how good he is, and he'll do well.
Last two, Simon and Matt.
Hi Andy. With you, Rafa, Novak, ball 35-36. Did you ever think that you would still be playing at this level at this age, or what happened with the injuries? Has that sort of extended your career in some ways?
Yeah, I don't know really. I obviously, like, just when I was starting on the tour, like, Agassi was kind of, well, from my memory, I know there's been players beforehand, but from that era, like, he was one of those guys. I think he finished playing when he was 36, and was still playing to a good level, but was physically obviously struggling, at the end. And yeah, he was someone that I certainly would have looked at and seen that he was playing into his mid-30s to a good level, and seeing that is, a possibility, obviously, providing the body holds up and everything, which at times mine obviously hasn't. Rafa's and Novak's has, and then obviously Roger, until right at the end, he had some issues with the knee and the back at times, but for the most part was pretty good. So I think certainly from like 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't expect that I would still be playing at this level and maybe still feeling like I can improve from where I'm at when I was 30, 35, 36 years old. But there has also been examples of players recently, and it seems like it is more going to be the norm that players are going to be playing into their sort of mid-30s nowadays, whether that's due to changing in training and, all of the information and data and all of those things that we can look at now, recovering better, just maybe being more informed about things is probably helping with that. But I think it's a good thing that players are now able to potentially have, like, rather than it being 10, 11-year careers, that you can get sort of 18, 20 years out of your career on the tour if you want to, which I think's a good thing for the players and for the sport.
That's one, Matt.
Yeah, Andy, how much work does it take for you to get from one match to the next? And I guess any tournament, and ones where you're playing consecutive days, or even now when you have a day off, in terms of recovery from the effort that you have to put in, especially when you're going 5 sets or 3 out of 5 sets?
Yeah, A bit more, certainly. I mean, when I was younger, at times I didn't, I probably didn't put enough work into that sort of stuff and just relied a little bit on, well, training that I'd done in the build up to it, and also just having age on my side as well. Like, you could get away with more when you were younger, so therefore you don't maybe do as much. Whereas, yeah, now, like, if I don't do all of the stuff properly away from the court, whether that's eating and sleeping right, and making sure I get in the ice bath and that I spend time with my physio, and spend more time off my feet, that I'm not going to recover as well. It is obviously harder as you get a bit older, but it's not like a ridiculous amount of time. I just try and do each area properly. I try and make sure I get the right amount of sleep. I try and make sure I eat properly, spend time with my physio, and do the ice baths and stretching and everything, and seems to work well.